I'd like to call the meeting in order. If you would stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone who's watching from home also. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee DeVore?
Present.
Trustee Gedd?
Present.
Trustee Kazam?
Present.
Trustee Reichert? Trustee Wigginton?
Present.
Trustee Weisenberg?
Present.
All right, again, welcome. Next is approval of the Board of Trustees minutes from September 19th, 2023. I'd ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion to approve. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Madam Clerk, correspondence.
I have two letters here, Mayor. The first one reads as follows. To Peoria Heights Village Board members and Mayor Phelan. As home buyers in Peoria Heights 2021, local from Peoria, we want our local tax dollars invested in Peoria Heights for fire services rather than outsourcing. We just want to benefit from the responsive, good local government. This board action of outsourcing our local tax dollars and delegating our fire protection needs to Peoria is a concerning and disappointing development. That we first heard about the news rather than from village communication is also a concern. Risk of taxes increasing very substantially with increasing the size of contracting service fees wasn't given enough sunlight by our local government in sufficient length so as to allow for public awareness and hence for public response. Why the rush to sign when so many are on vacation in July and June or dealing with fallout from multiple storms? We'd rather see a thorough plan from community leaders to marshal resources to support services the village has maintained all these years. This appears to have been decided much too quickly without broader community input. Further, we want to keep our fire stations in service even if it is just to supplement our local fire protection or provide training resources for backup from mutual aid. Unfortunately, the village just approved at least one and maybe two more gas stations to be built at the corner of Monroe and War Memorial Drive, which are very close to our home. We want strong, nearby local fire protection responsive to local concerns, risk mitigation, and other fire protection needs. Let's not pit our needs as a village against the priority list of Peoria, a community already struggling to meet wider needs. Please take time to solicit our whole community. Thank you for your efforts at building an attractive small community, and we hope you will keep it that way, partly by keeping fire protection local and responsive, or at least not selling our fire trucks or potentially letting anyone choose to close our two fire stations. Charles Lee, 3822 North Monroe Avenue. I also have a note of thanks to our friends at Peoria Heights City Hall. Please forgive the tardiness of this note, but we want to thank you so much for your help this summer. Your gift of $1,000 and the ongoing food drive went a long way towards helping us fill our storeroom with the food that so many of our neighbors rely on us for. You are our heroes. Thank you again, and may God richly bless you all. Sincerely, Diana and the St. Thomas Food Pantry volunteers.
Okay. Next will be comments from the audience. If anyone is here tonight to address the board, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and try and keep your remarks 5 minutes or less. Hi, Valerie. Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Wolf. I actually live at 612 Sloan Street, Peoria, Illinois, 61603. I am here tonight as a spokesperson for a project that's a bit of a collaboration. I am actually a local permaculturist and art lover and employee of Paparazzi. And tonight I'm going to talk to you about a piece of artwork that we're looking to place at the corner of Marietta and Prospect. You have a little bit in front of you information, a picture of the sculpture. It's entitled Progressive Woman, and it is a metal sculpture, and it is by artist Roy Rogers. It was formerly on the Sculpture Walk downtown for quite some time, and it is looking to be placed there for approximately 4 years, and the funds for this have already been raised, so that's not a concern. We are just looking to kind of get permission and an agreement that the village supports that placement. There is a stone that was donated by Peoria Park District that will serve as the base, and there is a proposed landscape that we would like to eventually put around this project as well, with funding that will be pieced together over time to develop the site. So that is the basics of what we're looking at here, and I guess we're just talking about an honorarium that would be essentially agreeing for an agreement with the artists that we all support that, so.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Valerie, for coming tonight. You and I have been in contact frequently about this, and it's an amazing initiative and adds to our art collection in the village of Peoria Heights, which I think just enhances and educates our community. So thank you so much. I spoke with council before this meeting, and Kate can speak to this, but I think you're going to draw up some kind of an agreement that we will vote on at the next meeting, but hopefully they can get started before that next meeting for installation and that type of thing, if that's okay with my fellow trustees.
Yeah, just, oh, go ahead.
And the idea being we just approve the installation that are subject to a formal acknowledgement or agreement by the board to be voted on at the next meeting.
And just for the record, I was presented an agreement, but I didn't feel I was able to sign that without the board approval and your authorization to permit the artist to place this sculpture on our property. So that's why there's a slight delay. But is anyone, just so there may be a sense of urgency on your part to move forward, is everyone in agreement you're okay with this, so we can at least move forward and bring it back for?
Yes.
This is on our property?
Yes.
We have it platted out? And
Yes.
okay.
Thank you for this effort. We really appreciate it. We just want to make sure we get it done right.
Absolutely, I appreciate your time.
I think, Chris, you've already helped a little bit on this, haven't you, Public Works?
Yeah, our guys have already went down to get the stone and brought it up, and we've got it placed, it's ready. We just need to go get the piece of art, and then someone's going to mount it to that stone.
We have someone to affix the sculpture to the stone to ensure that it is safe and all of that, so that's all in place.
Yeah, please extend our appreciation to everyone else you're working with.
Absolutely, it's been a collaborative of several people, so a lot of hands and a lot of love going in there, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Public comment, going once? Twice? Public comments closed, we'd be at old business. Any old business come for the board? Hearing none, let's get right into new business. First piece of business is approval of ordinance 2023-1709, an ordinance amending Title IV, Chapter 1 of the Village Code of the Village of Peoria Heights for the purpose of adding a new supplemental liquor license allowing for packaged liquor sales for Class B license holders. Trustee DeVore asks for a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2023-1709.
Second. Okay, go ahead, Trustee DeVore.
So essentially, we are looking to add a new supplemental liquor license. So Bex is asking for a liquor license where they can sell beer, wine, and liquor, but they want to be able to have the option to have beer and wine consumption on site. So the only way to do that, since we don't have a liquor license currently that fits into that demographic, is to have this supplemental liquor license. So essentially, the B license only allows for the sale of wine and beer and consumption of wine and beer. So we would have to have the B1 addition added onto it so that they could also sell packaged liquor, but they could not consume packaged liquor on site.
So explain to me packaged liquor. Is that like if
Just
you,
liquor. So
Take
like
away.
if you
Huh?
Carry away, like.
Yeah.
Don't they already have that license? Aren't they? I thought they were already going to sell like Bud Light.
they are.
But they need a pour license for gaming, and they need a packaged liquor
Kind of
for...
like we did with BP.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, Trustee DeVore.
That's okay. It's very similar to what we have with BP, right? So they need to be able to sell all of it, but they do not want there to be drinking liquor on site, okay? And they need that license in order to have video gaming, which is the same thing we did for BP.
Right.
So how does this license differ than the BP license?
Council, can you answer that? Or Trustee DeVore?
I don't know.
I don't,
So I thought BP had the same license to be able to have, so why?
I think
I'm trying to
from my
understand why we need
understanding-
a new license.
we're
type.
adding one.
Well, it was explained to me that the request from Beck's, the pour license is exclusively for beer and wine and not hard liquor. I'm not sure that that was the case for BP. I think they just had the standard pour license.
Right, that is right. BP
Okay.
just has like a standard liquor license, like what TNT's had or what any of the other businesses had that had a liquor license. Beck's is asking for it to be a B license because then there is no liquor consumption. That's the difference.
Right, I'm not opposed to it, it says we're adding a new supplemental.
Because our license, we don't have a license that says this yet, right? Like this would be the first time that we have one that's only consumption of beer and wine, but that they can retail liquor. No one else has that license yet. That's why it's a new license.
Trustee DeVore, I appreciate, and I don't have any problem with creating this new type of license. You mentioned Beck's is interested in it. We're creating 5 new licenses for one potential place. So that does give me pause. In fact, these numbers that I see here, that's really what gives me pause. A lot of this is, when we read section 41-11, it says in order to protect public health, safety, and welfare through the promotion of temperance. So I had to look up temperance and what does that mean? And what it means is the quality of moderation or self-restraint. And since I've been on this board, we've been adding licenses left and right. I mean, I don't think we've ever deducted or removed licenses. We've added them, and I don't know if we're promoting self-restraint or moderation when we just continue to create liquor licenses, especially when I'm hearing the notes from those some of our concerned citizens about placing these gas stations in their neighborhoods. So I would like to propose an amendment to this, if possible, and I printed it out just for the sake of our clerk, so that she could add this in. But what it says is it changes section 41-11 and basically keeps the same table as it's listed now in section A. But in section B it says, from and after the adoption of this ordinance, the liquor commissioner or his or her designee shall maintain a current list of all authorized licenses and shall report to the village board promptly at any time there is a change in the number of licenses, irrespective of the reason for that change. It goes on to say at C, in the event any license shall be revoked by final administrative action of the liquor commissioner, and any appeals to the Illinois Liquor Commission or the courts of this state shall have been exhausted, such licenses shall be automatically void, and the liquor commissioner or his or her designee shall decrease the number of authorized licenses by the number of such revoked licenses. Goes on to say in section D, in the event any licenses shall be allowed to lapse through the non-renewal, relinquishment, or otherwise, such licenses shall be automatically void, and the liquor commissioner or his or her designee shall decrease the number of authorized licenses by the number of such revoked license. So essentially, when a license goes dormant, that would be removed, and it would come back to the village board to create a new license when that is up. So that's what this amendment would do. It just puts the onus on us as a board to continue to create that license, and it sets this temperance automatically happens, which I think was the original intent of the act when this was first done.
Correct me if I'm wrong, counsel, but doesn't the liquor license are not transferable, so those are void once, I mean, a handful of things happen that you outlined, that those automatically void because they're not transferable.
But they're still available. So this would be.
The board has to create, so when those are not transferable, so when somebody leaves, so are those still dormant or are they still vacant?
So that permit, that liquor
Yeah.
license would be void if it's not transferable.
Right.
But then that would mean that there's still another license,
But-
another entity could.
But that process still needs to come in front of the board.
Well, it would be-
Yeah,
Liquor commissioner.
right, exactly.
Goes to the liquor
Okay.
commission. So this puts the onus on us as a board. I think that, and this does not reflect, and Mayor, you serve as a liquor commissioner, but this does not reflect on you at all. I think the way you've handled things is excellent. I just think as we move forward as a board, we need to have that responsibility on us. Now, I cannot take full credit for this. One of the things that I was lucky enough to attend was IML, the Illinois Municipal League, and the Village of Antioch, which is in Lake County, did this exact thing 10 years ago. And it's worked for them. They still have it on the books. I have their copy of their ordinance right here. Made some copies of that as well. So I think that this would be, I think this would be a good amendment, and that's my motion.
I'll second the amendment, or the motion for the amendment. And if I could ask some questions about that. I think it's a good idea that when a business gives up their liquor license, that it be revoked. When I first got elected, I believe it was Mayor Phelan who told me that his job at the as a liquor commissioner is just to assign the licenses that the board has approved to those particular businesses. And I fear if they just go back into the pot and they can be reassigned without our input, then we kind of lose control over those licenses. And I wonder if, for this B1, if we're creating 5 licenses, but Bex has only requested it, why are we creating 5 instead of just 1?
But this amendment would only create 1.
Okay. And then if Bex were to fail, I'm not saying they would, then that license would automatically be revoked.
Correct.
I need some clarification on the request for 5 licenses and why that is necessary. That's confusing me.
I don't,
Well, I'm going to interject and say, I'm not necessarily at this point for or against the amendment, but really this isn't a good way to do business because we're all just finding out about this tonight. This is a very detailed, lengthy amendment, and I appreciate Kate being here tonight. Mark Walton's at a federal trial, and he's not aware of this either. So to just spring this on us at the last minute and pass it out, I think is a very dangerous way to do things. So I would either ask for a deferral. I think that's the best thing to do, and then take it up at a future meeting. Because Mark really routinely handles these liquor issues for the village.
I would move the question for this amendment, and then I'll be open to a deferral per the Open Meetings Act.
Can you say that again?
Well, because the mayor rightfully said that this wasn't, this was just came up now. There are reasons why I did it this way, but I am happy to vote on the amendment and then do a deferral to our October 18th meeting.
For the entire
For the entire.
for the entire thing.
But then that also, the B1 supplemental license would also be deferred.
The entirety would be deferred.
Yeah.
Correct.
How will that affect Bex? I mean, they're not ready to.
no, I don't think if we push this back to the 17th,
Okay.
the meeting, I think would be fine.
Yeah.
Right. Just so I'm clear, so we're voting on the amendment to revoke a license if it becomes available, and to limit the B1 to just 1 license.
By the nature of the amendment, that's what it will do.
Right. I'm with you.
Okay, so we need to vote on that, and
Yep.
then we can make a motion to defer.
A motion to defer is in order at any time.
I would move the question on the amendment.
All right, let's vote on the amendment.
All right, so this is a vote on the amendment proposed by trustee Wigginton and seconded by trustee Weisenberg. It is to add sections B, C, and D to section 2, 4-1-11 of the liquor license. Is that correct, trustee Wigginton? Okay. The sections will be added to the minutes for the record. Trustee DeVore.
Aye.
Trustee Gadd.
Nay.
Trustee Kazam.
Aye.
Trustee Wigginton.
Aye.
Trustee Weisenberg.
Aye.
That was 4-1, Mayor.
Okay, back to the main motion as amended.
So now we needed to make.
I move to defer to the October 18th meeting,
Second.
17th.
The 17th, yeah.
or 17th meeting.
Yeah.
Second.
All right, any discussion on the deferral? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee DeVore.
Aye.
Trustee Gadd.
Aye.
Trustee Kazam.
Aye.
Trustee Wigginton.
Aye.
Trustee Weisenberg.
Aye.
All right, that passes. It's deferred until the 17th. Trustee DeVore, anything else under administration?
No, Mayor, not today.
Okay. Next would be at Economic and Community Development, approval of Resolution 2023-14, a resolution ratifying termination of the lease of property located at 1201, 1203 Kingman Avenue. Trustee Kazam, I'd ask for a motion to defer.
I make a motion to.
I'm sorry,
That's
a
okay.
motion to approve.
Approve. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, go ahead, trustee.
Okay, so this is just a ratification of the termination of the lease at Kingman. We had this conversation in our last meeting. The meeting before that, I wasn't here. This is basically just formalizing the termination of that lease and that the actions that were taken at that time were appropriate. I want to add that we don't need to discuss this right now, but this doesn't by any means mean that we can't continue, if I get direction from my fellow trustees, to continue negotiating with KDB or working on a new lease or any other options.
Council, would you just explain again what we're doing here? So,
Sure. So the lease upon positive agreement with KDB was previously terminated in accordance with the lease at the direction of the mayor. That was back in July, I believe. For the avoidance of doubt, the resolution before the board today is just simply ratifying what was previously done and affirming that by the full board. So this passage of this resolution does nothing to change the status quo. It just has the full board saying the lease is terminated and proving what was already done, terminating the lease.
thank you. Trustee Weisenberg, you have?
Sure, I'll start off that I would just like to thank my fellow trustees and the administration for the action took to protect the interests of the village of Peoria Heights.
Brandon, can you speak up a little?
Sorry,
bit so you-
I'll repeat that.
Trustee Weisenberg.
Yep, I'll just take this opportunity to thank my fellow trustees and village administration for the action they took to protect the interests of the village of Peoria Heights. I would be open to a new lease, discussing a new lease at some point if that is acceptable to my fellow trustees. But I definitely approve this resolution ratifying the termination of the lease.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Before we vote, I just want to add that I would not do anything like this without the advice and consent of council, so I clearly spoke with the administrator, I spoke with our attorney before we jointly made this decision, which we felt was in the best interest of the village to get it done as soon as possible at that time, so.
One quick question of council. As far as the original issue that prompted this was the lack of payment of property taxes, have those taxes been paid?
Yes.
Both the first installment as well as the second installment? Subsequent to the letter that was sent?
Yes.
After.
Yes.
Anyone else? Madam Clerk?
Trustee DeVore.
Aye.
Trustee Gadd.
Aye.
Trustee Kazam.
Aye.
Trustee Wigginton.
Aye.
Trustee Weisenberg.
Aye.
All right, that passes. Trustee Kazam, anything else under economic development?
No, thank you, Mayor.
All right. Next is an appointment. It's the appointment of Tanisha Kaysen to the Zoning Board of Appeals. would you mind coming forward and just tell a little bit about yourself, Tanisha, please? It's in the packet, but there's Mom back there, Angie. Hi, Angie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tanisha Kaysen. I've been living in the Heights for probably about 7 years. And I'm actually from Peoria, Illinois, born and raised. I recently graduated from Eastern Illinois with my bachelor's degree. And I'm currently a caseworker for a private agency. And I guess I like doing community work. I had to take a break for a little bit so I can finish school. So now I'm putting myself back out there and just kind of taking a leap of faith and trying to get my hands in and try to, and I mean, I guess I like helping people. That's my thing. I like helping people, and that's my biggest thing, is just making sure people are okay, and helping out in my community and trying to fix those different gaps of brokenness in the community. So that's kind of my area.
Offer to serve, we appreciate that.
Oh,
So
thank
I
you.
would ask for a motion to appoint Tanisha Kaysen to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
All right, any discussion on that?
Well, you're going to go right into the fire with the
Yeah.
zoning board.
You're going to learn a lot,
So, best of luck to you.
but we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's make it formal, so Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee DeVore?
Aye.
Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Trustee Kazam?
Aye.
Trustee Wigginton?
Aye.
Trustee Weisenberg?
Aye.
All right, good luck to you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'd be at miscellaneous. Any miscellaneous business come for the board? Trustee Weisenberg, you do or you don't have anything?
I'm sorry? Normally I do, but I don't.
Okay, well, it's like looking at
I'm
something.
sorry.
Just real quickly, I guess, just to preview a little bit next week, Supervisor Chandler and I got the opportunity at IML, as well as Trustee Kazam, to sit down with representatives both from Illinois American as well as Woodard and Kern. Great discussions on the way to move forward with the water company. I think we're going to have a really good presentation next week. I know a lot of people have been interested in that, so hopefully we have a good turnout at our meeting next week to hear really some direction on which way we want to go with the water department.
It's not next,
It's
it's not
even
next week.
17th.
It's October 17th.
Next meeting, yeah,
meeting.
sorry,
I was
yeah.
like, wait.
I just
Yeah,
want
I'm
to
so
clarify-
eager, I'm so eager.
Clarify that for the people watching, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's October 17th.
Any other miscellaneous?
Mayor.
Wayne, I was
just
going
some
to, did you give an update on the grant?
Sure, yeah. We submitted a grant, big federal grant, last Thursday, Reconnecting Communities and Neighborhoods Grant for the Monroe Avenue area. So submitted it on time. Want to thank Emily in the Water Department, Sarah in Administration, Mike Bailey, Cardinal Infrastructure. It was a great team effort to get that submitted. So I think we have a good, strong application. We have letters of support from both Senators Duckworth and Durbin, so that's something we haven't seen before, so that's pretty.
Quick explanation what that would look like if we get awarded the grant?
It's a phase one engineering study, similar to what we got money for Prospect Road. So all the preliminary engineering concept designs, all the federal required studies, surveys, community involvement, a big part of that. So would be what is called the complete streets type project. So really focusing not just on the car traffic, but certainly on mass transit, on sidewalks, bikes, accessibility issues, all those things really feed into this particular grant. And then also trying to connect that area to the rest of the community, the broader Peoria area and Peoria Heights. So very, very important part of that grant.
Thanks to you and the team for all the work on that. When will we know, Mr. Aldridge?
Oh, it usually takes at least a quarter of the year to know. So I would think by spring, late winter, we'll find out. But again, a pretty rare grant for, I think, the size of community we are, but really the expressions of support were very impressive, I thought, so.
Well, this is really exciting because we've been talking about enhancing and paying attention to Monroe for a long time. So this just gets us one step closer to that end goal of addressing that.
And I always think, no matter if we get a grant or not, it's very good background work and sets us up for other opportunities. And really quite a bit of study and good work done with grants.
And I believe you went to a planning conference recently?
Yeah, a couple other things. Went to the Illinois Association of Planners, which was in Naperville several weeks ago. Presented with Housel Levine on the Peoria Heights Comprehensive Plan. So I think we're proud of the plan here, and they certainly are too. Is just how comprehensive the comprehensive plan was, and how it really describes next steps forward to take for the community. So I think that presentation was good, and then that leads into it. While at that conference, I met several planning firms and others who may be interested in helping us out with our zoning code rewrite and form-based code, both of which were suggested in the comprehensive plan. So we made some contacts there. In the next couple of months, we'll issue a request for qualifications, statements of interest for that project as well. And then the other request for qualifications would be Prospect Road. We got the green light from IDOT to move ahead with that project. So again, in the next couple of months, we'll be issuing an RFQ to find the consultant team that will help us out with that project.
Any questions?
Just a quick question. So speaking of next steps, what is the likelihood of going from phase 1 to phase 2 with the support we got regarding the Monroe project? Because since I've been on this board, we've had a lot of phase 1s. I don't think we've ever had phase 2.
These are phase 1s from a federal standpoint, an engineering standpoint. My experience in my career was you get phase 1 done and you're really set up well for that phase 2 and getting the funding for that. So there would be as far as process, there on Prospect Road, Monroe, you name it, you get that phase 1 done and they see the work you've done, and that really is a kind of a pre-qualification for getting other money.
Right.
So there'd be another process, grant process for both those projects, but that really sets you up well.
And you've explained to me, Wayne, that, if they're investing these finances and time into your community for phase 1, they're not just throwing that money away. They want to
Yes.
see these projects
Yeah.
come to fruition. So.
That's certainly, they think that way, and the delegates think that way too. Let's invest. Once we've invested, let's make that project happen.
I think sometimes it takes a long time. Like, for example, we got Galena Road a long time ago, but they told us initially they wouldn't start that until the bridge was completed.
Right.
Right? So it's like, we got that, it was exciting, but now we have to wait for this whole bridge completion before they'll even get into that.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's not gonna happen, but I still have high hopes that that's
That was
gonna
my,
happen.
that was my next question. I was, no reflection of you, Mr. Aldridge, or this board. Maybe it's just the state of Illinois, but it's like it takes a generation.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
It does. I mean, but look at how long the bridge has been under construction, though.
Right.
We've been going to meetings with IDOT for well over 2 years on Galena Road. And, I mean, meeting with them on a regular basis. And so that has actually gone pretty far down the way.
My career's been full of these kind of projects, so it does take time.
Have you finished one?
Oh, yeah. No, I take pride in finishing projects.
No, not
so-
you, but has the state finished one?
Oh, no, they certainly do. It just takes, it is a process, getting approvals and then making sure you have the funding and everything's in place. But I feel confident on all these projects, yeah. Once you start phase 1, you're in the game, basically.
Thank you. Any other miscellaneous? Trustee Gett?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We're adjourned.
Better than that. She doesn't come.